Ever since Crack the Sky, we've kind of taken the stance that whatever tragedies in your life, you know, that everyone goes through, we're lucky enough to have this thing to put it all in, you know, and it's Mastodon. We use it for that. It's a nice container to put these kind of things. That's where we put my sister's death, that's where we put Brent's brother's death, that's where we put Troy's wife's cancer, that's where we put Bill's mom's death, that's where we put all this stuff, and you turn it into something beautiful, or you try to at least.
The writing process for this record officially began at the start of 2016.
I wonder what it's called.
The Emperor of Sand is what I would like to call the record.
99 times out of 100, Braun's the one who's like, okay, well, I got this idea, and here, let's call it The Hunter, or let's call it Crack the Sky, or Remission. And when I first hear it, I'm always like, that sounds kind of weird. Even Once More Around the Sun, when I heard that, I was like, I have to think about that. But then looking back, like on the album titles and concepts and everything, it's like a no-brainer. It's just, I don't ever think twice about it. I'm like, yeah, Remission, Leviathan. You know, once the record comes out and everything, it's just like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense. Braun's smart, he knows what he's talking about. So yeah, Emperor of Sand.
That's what I want to call it.
So it's kind of like a metaphor for cancer, I think. There's been a lot of cancer going around in the world in general, but in our personal lives.
Cancer will touch your life at some point, unfortunately.
Since the dawn of time, people have dealt with this, and what it is a very stealth disease. It's something you can't see, and it's in you. You're born with it. It's silent all its life, and it's running without vision. Something that can hollow you out inside and change all that's right. The Sultan's Curse. It's the beginning of the journey.
First song is Sultan's Curse.
What light do you have to reflect outward, give this fight everything that you've got? And that's where the album starts. Tired and lost, no one to trust, who's there to give you the push?
First song sets the tone for the record.
I'm pretty sure it's a party song. Or it might be about Satan. Yeah, it is. One of them's about Satan. So many lyrics, it's hard to remember.
The Emperor of Sand, kind of another way of saying the Grim Reaper, or, you know, sand represents time, and when you're a person who's given a cancer diagnosis, you ultimately are thinking, how much time do I have, you know?
It's facing your own mortality. And what does that mean? It's like, well, what do I do with this time? How much time? It's usually the first question.
When you're reminded of your mortality, then you think a little bit more about it, obviously. How much time is left?
And it's what you do from that moment forward that means everything. It's that dark journey that one goes on from this diagnosis to the very end result. So it's the fight, it's the struggle, and it's what you can muster from the inside out that will determine any longevity that you might have. That is the basis of what the Emperor of Sand is all about.
Yeah, it's a heavy subject matter. but we're not sick. We're healthy right now, so that's awesome. So we try to take advantage of that and write as much music and have as much fun as we possibly can with it, but also pay tribute to our loved ones who have passed on.
Try to channel all this energy into something that we believe in and create music. It's very therapeutic for us.
There's a lot going on for everybody, but we get together and we riff out, and it helps.
It is cathartic, you know? It's like, for me, I feel like I'm a pretty quiet person, but I put all my thoughts and energy into playing guitar, writing music the best I can.
There was no preconceived ideas to write a record about this, but it just made total sense because that's what we've all been living over the past year and a half.
And when you play music, sort of emote through your instrument, so the record is what all that stuff sounds like.
What's the most honest thing we can write about? We can write about what we're living, what we're experiencing, and what we're feeling.
The record ends up being a collection of music that heavily reflects what the band members over the past year and a half, what we've gone through on a personal level, you know, because we really enjoyed what Crack the Sky was able to achieve.
So I think it's kind of a fitting metaphor for the new record, since that was so deeply a part of the whole writing for me, you know.
It may be dark, it's definitely gloomy, but it's extremely real. Mastodon pulls from that. And when the four of us get together and create, it's extremely heartfelt, and I've said it forever, but it means the world to us. Emperor of Sand. Here you go. We kind of dedicated 2016 to creating, writing, and recording a new record. And it's like, all right, we're off the road, the touring is done, we've recharged the batteries, we've hit the refresh button, here we go.
We're almost to the studio. Studio.
Here we are, we're in Kennesaw, Georgia. Apparently you have to have a gun if you live here. I don't have one, but I don't live here, so it's all good.
A gorgeous day here in Kennesaw, Georgia.
I don't think I've ever been out here before we came out to record this album number 8.
Yeah, can you believe that? Mastodon has recorded an 8th full-length studio album.
Probably just about every record except for Crack the Sky were made outside of our hometown. We realized that we like to be in Atlanta, we like to be home, be with our families. That's a big thing for us because we're on tour all the time.
We'll tour for approximately 2 years, so it's nice to revisit our homes. A lot of times, after a brutal stretch of touring, you come home and your dog doesn't even recognize you. We enjoy our home time very much. The relaxing side of being at home and also the quality time we share with our loved ones. Very important.
It makes a big difference. Get to go home at night and tell my lady, my cat and dog about all the magic that's happening in this studio. Bill has a studio in his basement.
All right, so here we are. I'm going to introduce you to my little studio in my home that I built with my bare hands. This bronze drum kit. It just stays mic'd up all the time. Got amps mic'd up, so when we have an idea, it's easy enough just to come down and knock it out. This is where the computer is and the Pro Tools mixing board. You know, it's just a basic setup. It does a good job for doing our demos and all that kind of stuff at the moment.
We put a lot of time and effort into the pre-production for the past almost a year now of getting together and writing and going over stuff, so things were pretty ready to record and ideas were pretty flushed out.
And we just sit right here and start throwing ideas down.
Yeah, we would FaceTime through satellite. That was a chore. It kept cutting in and out. You know how it is. FaceTime. But we didn't have to use actual delay, we just used that delay that we already had. Then we ran that through a delay pedal.
It's just a matter of taste, really. You just sit down there and like any other band, just listen to stuff, and whatever's making you happy, that's what you go for. That's the main thing, is when you're creating something, is you want to make sure that you dig it. So
because I think that's what it's genuinely about. It has to come from the heart. It has to be something that you personally like to play and to write.
When it comes to music, if you want it done right, you should do it yourself.
Right now, I feel like the band is just firing on all 12 cylinders, you know, just boom, 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 like ideas. And I can't wait to get back to the studio today and just hear what magic is happening.
Go clock in now at the studio.
It's just another day at the office for Braun. He, you know, what can I say about him?
Great drums, great looking drums, good paint jobs.
Drum tracks. Drums were quick. Drums went by like that. They were gone. You do put the drums there first, and you don't hear anything. You just hear drums. It's like, this is ridiculous. The drums sound incredible. I'm really, really, really happy with how they turned out. Sounds badass. I basically just said Heart Barracuda. So they sound like maybe an updated version of a 70s rock sounding kit. It sounds big, but tight right up front, and everything's articulated, and I gave myself many high fives.
Oh, Braun. Love him.
Personal high fives while listening to the drums. Like, yes, that sounds awesome.
I got a mountain behind me with octopus arms and legs. Sometimes I still have to turn around and make sure that thing's human. What the hell is that behind me? It sounds amazing. How do you do that? 2 guys back there? No, it's just you, Braun? Amazing. Being a bass player, I could never ask for a better drummer to be with. And I know that he'll never settle for anything less than spectacular to his standards, so there's never a worry or a fear at all, whatever he wants to do and feels behind the kit.
Trying to just be myself and play the hell out of drums, but stay out of the way of the songs, you know?
I think of the many great qualities that Braun has, he's really grown into knowing that sometimes simplifying for the greater good.
Because the songs are really important, and these songs in particular are songs.
Knowing when to do his thing and when to keep it in the Mastodon pocket, you know, and really have it be the best for the song itself.
So I don't want to screw them up with too many fills. And I just, that left hand. No, I'm just saying it's severely haunted. This is like a mental institution, an abandoned mental institution. My left hand. Very similar vibe. Yeah, I like putting them fills down there with the extra butter on them rolls. Like that.
He enjoys playing all of his drums. The size of his kit is the size because he loves to play them all.
He can flickety-flam them drums better than anyone I ever seen or knew. He flicker, flim, 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 flim.
So a couple of fills, some of the butter had to come off. They had to scrape off some of the butter.
8,000 beats per minute if he could. He's able. He sleeps, breathes, and eats drums 60 seconds a minute, 60 minutes an hour, every hour, every week. Drums are his life.
No, but my personality's in there. I didn't completely remove myself from it and just be vanilla. I'm gonna take that back. Vanilla is it's a powerful flavor. it shouldn't get the flack that it gets because vanilla tastes amazing. Anyways, I don't know, they all have their moments, they'll have their drum musical moments. I feel like I'm myself. I feel like I did a lot of cool things drum-wise.
It's great to be around when he's doing his thing.
Bron's always, too bad he's the drummer, but he's got a good voice. I tell you, not the best drummer, but he's a great voice.
When we're writing, I'm not sure what I'm going to be singing or not.
In 2009, Bron starts singing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you have a voice of Fergie mixed with Jesus. And I'm like, hey, man, you gotta sing on this record, because your voice is like amazing. Because I can't sing and play drums, Brent. I'm like, you gotta try. I mean, we can't, never could, you know what I'm saying?
I'll try to pick my moments, you know. I know I'll be singing, so I lay back a little bit on the vocal parts, but you know, when there's a bunch of singing going on, you should probably be laying back anyways, and pick your moments when you're not singing to do the big old flashy fills.
Bron truly wants what's best for this band, and whatever formula it takes for us to be the best we can, you know, he's the biggest cheerleader we have, and he continues to grow into a bigger, better musician, and that's a giant reason that we're just continuing to find new and improved ways to elaborate on the Mastodon sound.
I'm done with my drum tracks. Making an album is easy and fun. You should try it sometime.
Beach session. Take one.
Troy just has an amazing understanding of his bass, you know, and his playing is it's Mastodon. It sounds like Mastodon. It's what sounds the most like Mastodon. It's just so heavy and burly sounding, and it fills in all those cracks, and it just joins forces with me.
Now you got to prepare for this new album. So I like to feel that I have prepared. A lot of times it's best to relax, ease into it, you know. Set your sights far away and just slowly paddle your way towards it. And you have to prepare, like I do, militant preparation.
Hard work pays off, you know. Nothing happens if you don't do anything for it. You have to work. You have to work all the time, more than the next guy.
Take it very seriously. Bust your ass. Requires a lot of dedication. Some would say that I prepare for a record similar to a Navy SEAL. I feel the need to get into the paint, take on the role of, hey, I've got a huge task in front of me. I need to set my goals. I focus. I let nothing bother me. Horse shades. Focus straight ahead. Get the pipes warmed up. Get my bass chops rocking. Go in the studio and try to have a little fun.
Dirty Behinds to Command Center. Dirty Behinds to Command Center. Good morning. Hey, Troy. How's it going? What are you doing answering the phone over there? Oh, yeah. Everything's fine up here. No beer. I've been drinking our pee the whole entire time. It's weird. But then you become to like it after a while. And I got caught 3 times already drinking my pee on Earth. Gotta cut it out. All right, man. Peace. Over and out. 10-4.
My bass playing is the warmth and the guts. That's what it always has been, and that's what I feel it always will be. Because I've always felt that I've got this chaotic mountain of drums coming behind me, and between Brent and Bill, we've got these incredible layers of guitar ear candy that's always happening. There's lots of layers, there's lots of emotion, there's lots of tones.
He really pays attention to everything that's going on, and he reels it in when it really needs to be just super simple.
like to keep it simple.
Resists all the temptations to, riff out on the bass, which he's perfectly capable of doing, but he understands serve the song, that kind of thing. He's just really has a really great understanding of his instrument and what it's supposed to do.
The bass guitar needs to remain grounded in Mastodon. I need to be massaged into the band's sound. I need to be camouflaged, blended or camouflaged very well. It can shine here and there. Oh, I think I see it. Yep, there's the bass. I hear it. Up there it goes. And rear the head only when need be to make my presence known. I like to bring the bass up, bring it back down. I don't mind throwing one or two surprises here and there. Sometimes I feel the bass has been hidden for quite some time and it needs to just pop out. Face the front, up, come back, back into the distance. Fade away, fade away.
I love that about his bass playing, and you can get a very capable bass player to come in and play bass on those songs, but until it's Troy playing bass, it doesn't sound like Mastodon.
Again, rearing its head only when necessary. Ascend to the surface, look around, make yourself known, descend.
When Troy plays the bass on there, you're like, okay, now it sounds like Mastodon.
Like I've mentioned, Bill was really on fire for this record. Major output from him into all these songs, and his sound is all over the record, and it doesn't disappoint. I love it.
Bill will sit and write riffs all day. He'll riff and riff and riff and riff, and it's awesome. He's got no shortage of riffs.
That's what I hear.
We can't let it go that way, man.
But I just wanted to make sure there's some big, heavy riffs, and Bill had them sitting there, so it's just like, yeah, let's dig in on some of this stuff. We can mix it. And yeah, big heavy riffs, lots of them. Did I answer your question?
Easily, my Bill Kelleher highlight of the album is a song called Andromeda. Right when he was demoing this out, immediately reminded me of one of our favorite bands of all time, Burnt by the Sun. I immediately fell in love with it. Heavy as two hells, the sickest, dirtiest riff in a long, long time.
It's 2016, man, it's time to get brutal.
Andromeda, tough as nails, thick as elephant skin, just fantastic. That's my Bill Kelleher highlight riff of the album. It really blossomed into a song that wasn't pure heaviness. It kind of goes off into this slightly trippy verses.
We just wanted to make sure on this record that, I wanted there to be a heavier element because I like heavy music, that's like when I was a kid, that was my first musical love was heavy metal and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and leading up to Metallica and Slayer. And I love that version of ourselves as well, the Leviathan, Remission, Blood Mountain stuff. And I like everything else as well, like all the psychedelia, the more rock-centric version as well. And
yeah, there's a little bit of everything in there. Looking back, reflecting on the past few records, I kind of listening to a couple here and there just to make sure that I've got everything in the new record that I want, that maybe I missed out on the earlier records. Like, oh, I should have done this. I don't want to ever feel like that. I want to be like, I've got everything in there, because you can always take stuff out when you're mixing, but you can't really add to it after you've kind of put all your chips in. You're like, okay, I think I'm finished.
Let's see, I used the Friedman, Marshall JCM 800. I used a different JCM 800. I used a Fractal, Fender Super Reverb. What was it, a Zenith? It's 5 so far. I'm about to use this fucking thing. Hitler used this for some of his speeches.
When Hitler delivered the Gettysburg Address, that's the amp he used.
Bill, what guitar would you play?
If you could play guitar.
Dirty Behinds to Command Center. Oh, hey Bill. What's up, man?
Today I got 3 songs done, I think. About 8 hours of work, 9 hours.
What's that? Really? There's a gigantic spider there? No, there's no monsters like that on the moon. I know. I know sci-fi. It's bullshit. No, I've not seen Darth Vader yet. How's it going down there? You guys good?
That sounds awesome. I'm really excited about it. It's fucking cool.
We also wanted to push ourselves to be more exploratory when it came to like the bridges and things.
I'll sit with a part, make it more intricate and make it into something. It's just kind of like a bed to get from part A to part B. Okay, we got this bed thing here, so.
And not just stop at a certain point and go, done. Like, no, let's push that further. Or let's go there. Let's put the time in. We have time. Let's use it.
And there's little things like that. Just trying to make the parts that are already there even better.
So we did, and this is the outcome. Definitely pays off because there's some real beauty in there. There's some real big, heavy stuff. But it has to be different in a way. There has to be something special about it. It can't just be, if it sounds too much like this, you kind of go, yeah, that's heavy and that's awesome, but it sounds like us.
You like peanut butter and jelly together, that's a classic. But you want to mix it up a little bit, and this song is like the color purple. Purple's a fruit. A lot of people don't believe it, but I do. Andromeda is my purple fruit, and it's good for you.
So that song's gonna be called Andromeda. Pretty lady, Andromeda. She's also a constellation.
This right here is Andromeda. We wrote a song about it while I was up there, because I was so inspired by how beautiful her mythical self was, but she, actually coming from her own galaxy. What a beautiful galaxy it is. I took a lot of selfies with me and Andromeda here.
It's like a painting. There's a point in a time where you have to take the brushes out of your hand and say, okay, the painting's done. We have to move on and let this thing speak on its own, and that's what it is.
Dirty Behinds to Command Center. Dirty Behinds to Command Center. Oh, hey guys, what's going on? I was just checking in to see if I should commence on these guitar solos sent up here on November 7th, 3 o'clock my time.
And my main man, Brent Hines, he never ceases to amaze.
No, Brent's guitar playing is insane. It's beautiful.
It's all space logged in there.
Brent has a very signature sound that is not only wanted but needed.
He's got that beauty, and then he's got that originality. There's nobody else like him. You can't replicate it. You can't duplicate it. No one can touch it.
Yeah, nailing it down over there.
These moments of fire that are on the album, every album we've ever done, and this one included.
His solos are really, really just amazing on this album. There's a whole bunch of them, and they all sound unique.
I liked one of those notes. I kept hitting one note over and over. It sounded so good.
I just think he's gone above and beyond.
You can't really play the one note solos though. You should branch out. So I played more than one note a couple times.
Again, one of the reasons I fell in love with the Mastodon, was his guitar playing. It's just so uniquely brilliant.
Everything he touches is gold.
I was like, like that a few times, which was good.
All the color he adds is incredible.
And then a couple times, I was like, a couple times was one I was like, wabum, wabum. Quick fire solos, they call them, the Old West.
And the tones that Brent has on this band is recognizable, it's necessary.
It's not for everyone. Do I like it? Yes. Did I make it up? Yes.
You know, he comes in, he shreds, and he leaves. I love him.
Not any extraterrestrial life, but I grew an extra testicle while I was out there. I have 3 testicles now. The solos have 3 balls. Extra testicle, 1 extra testicle the solos have. I grew it while I was doing them. I watched it grow. I was like, oh yeah.
Especially on Jaguar God, the solo at the end that brings us out is just... I have a super strong connection to his playing. We're all super connected, and me and him are super connected. We share the same musical heart. It's pretty fantastic to find that in your lifetime.
That's why they're good.
It's went to outer space. I don't know, it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
I feel pretty good about it, knowing that I'm the only guitar player in the history of the world that ever did tracks inside the moon. I mean, that's why I did it. I was like trying to just break some records, you know. I was breaking my records at the house, and I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. I want to break an actual record, like not an LP or something, you know. I want to break like an actual Guinness Book of World Record. I guess I'll be talking to the Guinness Book of World Record pretty soon about that.
With my love pump, I got it all worked out. It really gets pretty interesting halfway through. It goes right into hot cross buns perfectly, the way they match up.
One of my favorite things about being in a band in general is the coming together of everybody and everyone's ideas in the studio and just getting excited about it.
I love this time. The time leading up until now, it's always nerve-wracking for me, the writing thing and getting everything in place in order. But this record has been surprisingly a lot easier to do.
Getting stoked on all the new sounds and seeing how psychedelic we can push it and just getting inspired and getting artistic and getting wild. You know, we usually go into every studio situation at about 75% everything together. We leave the other 25% up to spontaneity.
You know, you can prepare and you craft the songs and you get the skeleton of the songs themselves, but you never know what's going to happen until you actually get in there and hit record and play around with ideas and various thoughts.
There were a few spots that I wasn't sure what was going to happen there. We weren't sure what was going to happen there.
So there's always a little bit of magic to be made and some unforeseen results. So that's always exciting. You start the day with a clean slate and you never know where it's going to end up.
Exciting things need to happen in every song. Exciting sounds, new sounds, things that sound cool. I don't know, we move fast, but we still pay very close attention to detail, and there is a lot of detail work, but it just happens quickly.
I listened back to the songs we just did, and the hair on the arms stand up. That's a good sign.
We treat the studio experience differently than the live thing, We just try to make it as insane as we can, But maintain all those big hooks, and it's pop music made by crazy people. Brendan's all about the bells and whistles and making a very ornate Christmas tree.
Bron is an incredible percussionist. His ear for various bells and whistles. The things that you might not hear but you'll feel.
Some movers and shakers, tambourines and bells and whistles and buttons and felt in this box here.
You can barely see any branches, there's so many ornaments.
I was using my legs. I was trying not to use my back because you're not supposed to do that.
That's what I like. All the melodies and the harmonies and that's what I want to listen to, all that ear candy. I just love it. It makes for a wild, adventurous listen.
It's got all those bells and whistles that I love, when you hear you're listening to something and you hear a little tiny bell go off right over here somewhere.
Triangle solo.
And then wah, 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 something coming out weird effects. And
I want a surprise in every song, and I want things to grow musically. It just needs to hit all those spots that it's supposed to hit.
I miss that because we did a lot of stuff with Crack the Sky, like synthesizers and different organs and piano and just weird little sound effects. It's like the icing on the cake,
But with today's technology, there's so many guitar pedals and effects and tricks in the studio that you can do. I mean, we're trying to take advantage of all that.
Getting all those, Jimmy? God, they work for me. They're working for me right now.
That's what we're doing.
Fucking hands full of pedals.
It's running from you.
Maybe it's just one of those guitars, and then when the drums come in, it's all the other effects kind of slowly come in, maybe.
all that stuff we got to do. I want some sound like you're tripping on acid when you hear this song, or if you are tripping on acid when you hear this song, your head just fucking explodes.
You hear the Leslie speakers going from left to right in your headphone mix, lots of delay and phasers, all that stuff. It helps, man. It makes your music really jump out of the speakers and like fucking grab you, grab your brain and go, ah, you're on drugs right now. Listen to this shit. It just enhances the effect of what, even if you're not on drugs, you're just like, wow, that's fucking sounds like I could be on drugs.
Stuff that was going on today in the middle there, in the middle of that song, all the drugs that were happening.
To do drugs, I'm not condoning that, but if you are on drugs, you might dig some of the stuff we're doing.
Yeah, I like guitar effects. I like affected guitar. When you get to those dreamy sequences and you get to put mustard mayonnaise all over everything.
We incorporated a mix of cumin and A1 steak sauce. We'll mix it together and put some mustard. I'm gonna dry that out for a couple of days. I rub it on a sock and then I put the sock in the sun and then I let that dry out. I crust all the A1 and the mustard and mayonnaise off the sock and then I play the guitar solo.
We try not to pay too much attention to, oh, are we going to be able to do this live, or, you know, we'll figure it out eventually. It'll be the bar band version once we get it up there and play it for the good people. You know, I really sort of try to treat the studio like the studio, you know, take the ABBA approach and go over the top with everything that we can, because that's really what's going to be left behind when I'm a skeleton in the ground, is the album, the art, that'll be there.
We don't want to create a record that's taking a step back. We always want to feel like we're progressing, challenging ourselves as a band and as individual musicians. Just to have the same four wheels spinning all the time after all these years, it's a reward and a relief to know that everyone is still very much into it and trying and willing to put everything they have into the songs that we create.
What song are you getting ready to do, Troy?
I don't know the name of it.
I think we have maybe one real title, so I need to get work on that. I'll do that next week. Start with the real names.
Oh, God. Using your brain muscles.
Your brain muscles, yeah.
Using them brain BMs. I call them BMs.
When I get done playing my drum tracks, all I'm thinking about is lyrics and vocals. I would get up at like 7:30 in the morning and roll downstairs butt naked and just start working on lyrics until I get yelled at by the cat. Go back upstairs and put some clothes on because he's embarrassed.
To me, like Perfect Song has really heavy guitars, a little bit of progginess and weird off time kind of stuff, but has really beautiful melody and like maybe vocal harmonies. I think subconsciously I've kind of like strived for that, but when I'm writing, it just anything comes out. As long if it sounds like a cool rhythm, percussive rhythm, you know, to me it's like, okay, let's just go with that. I don't ever say, okay, we have to have a chorus here. We don't really formulate songs like that.
It's hard because almost nothing is written with lyrics in mind, because they're just written as riffs, and you put them all together and you have this song and you're like, okay, what can we sing over? That's why it's important for me to have some kind of storyline to follow. I need like this overarching theme if I'm going to be writing lyrics for a whole bunch of songs. And I try to get cinematic with it. I have to like see this little movie play in my head, and then I can write about the movie. The story is of a man that's in the desert that's been handed down a death sentence from some kind of sultan. The protagonist has escaped the henchmen and is sort of lost in the desert, the food, no water, and the sun is taking it out of him. And he's trying to communicate with different tribal entities throughout the world telepathically to try to get some rain in the situation, try to make it rain a little bit. I think by the end of the story, he simultaneously is saved and also dies at the same time. You know, we've been on a mountain, we've been out into outer space and Tsarist Russia, so the desert seemed like a good place to be. And it sort of sounded like that to me when we were just doing the demos. It kind of had a little desert vibe to it. But I guess that leads me to working with Alan Brown just sort of gave him a rough outline of what the concept was. And, Alan picked up on that and thought it should be like a central figure on the cover. What's this emperor look like? What is this bringer of death, if you will? As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh damn, that's him. That's that guy that killed all those people. It was really kind of emotional, almost like you're picking someone out of a lineup. I never saw what cancer looked like, and I think he nailed it. It's a beautiful piece of art. With Mastodon, the art is integral. It's another part of the whole experience. I just want people to get lost in it. I want to get lost in it personally. There's going to be a lot to look at and a lot to pick out. The characters on the inside represent the horde that comes along with the Emperor, and there's 3 crystalline creatures that are in the middle, sort of emitting light. That's hopefully some kind of cure. I love the marriage of the two, of music and visual art. If it makes sense together, it's a really amazing thing to be able to sit and stare at this album cover and listen to the music if it ties in together. It's tough subject matter, we had some experiences with it. Like everyone, I think every single person is going to experience some form of cancer. But it just seemed like there was a concentration of it over the last couple of years. It seemed like it was a little tougher than most, I guess, for some of the guys in the band. So it was the thing that was most at the front of everyone's mind, I think, because it was intense and Bill and Troy were experiencing new illnesses. My mom passed away Memorial Day this year in cancer, and she was only diagnosed like 7 months before that. It's kind of for Bill's mom, Kathy. Cancer came and took her really fast. I mean, it was just like she was here, and then we found out she had cancer, and she was gone. Yeah, we came home from tour, and then I found out that she got sick. We did the biopsy and found out that she had cancer, and it was brain cancer, and it was terminal.
Whether you're expecting it or not, I think these curveballs that life will throw at you are never easy to swallow. But you never know what amount of time you're looking at. And I know that it took a bunch of months, it took 6-8 months or something to happen, but it's still hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's not here anymore. That was right when I started writing everything for this record. So that's why it kind of ties in a lot for me personally. Last year, Troy's wife was diagnosed with cancer. It's a pretty devastating thing, and the only thing you can do is be there for someone, be by their side and love them, and just try to comfort them in every way possible and hope that they can get through it. What is this? What is happening? Because you can't pinpoint it, you truly can't see it until it gets to a certain mass. And that's the true blackness and evil of disease, is that it doesn't rear its ugly head until it's at a certain size. And when you're hit with this news that affects everything, it can be very scary, and it is very scary for many, many people. And it's all because of this moment that arrived and just swallowed you whole. It rearranges everything and puts perspective in a whole new order.
So it was just like boom, boom, like fuck, like this shit is no joke.
You have to find the light. If you can't see it or imagine where it will be, you have to, it's a must, because you have to get to the end, wherever that end might be. When you're speaking of time and how you use it, that becomes everything. It kind of also taps into why we do this band in the first place. What does Mastodon give me? What does it give the other guys? Very similar to a family member or loved one when they're going through a battle. We're unified, we depend on one another. Our travels, our personal journeys, our band journeys, we share it together, and there's no one else on earth that we share this with. It's very powerful, and if it doesn't mean the world to us, we shouldn't be doing it. But all these years later, we're still doing it. And I believe that whether it's for joy or for sadness, tears are stronger than anything you can imagine. And if you can come out alive and you live with those scars and you'd be proud of them. And it becomes part of who you are. It becomes part of your being. And it just proves your history of struggle and fight and will and desire. And that's really all you can do.
There's not a lot you can do when you find out like a loved one or someone has cancer. It's just like, that's terminal. Like, what do you do? So in my mind's racing like a dog chasing its tail. Like, what could I have done? Is there some avenue I didn't go down, like to seek help or some alternative treatment? But it's like, you got to put it to rest because like she's gone now. We did try everything, but to keep myself sane, you know, of course I come down here and just do it. I mean, even the day that she died, Memorial Day, Braun and Troy came over, and
you know, we're just showing up for band practice like we always do, and you could see his pale stare, and he looked at us and he said, "Hey, my mom passed last night."
You know, we were all down here talking about it.
You know, I think the day that Bill's mom passed, we were over there in his basement working on riffs, working on this album.
So our first thought as friends was, wow, we'll take some time off. You let us know when you're ready to do this again. And he said, no, we're doing it right now.
But we worked that day. They were like, do you want the day off to like, and I was like, I don't know, sit around and mope about it? No. I mean, let's just keep working.
And that's what was important to Bill. He wanted to play, you know. I get that. I've totally been there.
I was like, no, I mean, what I really want is that you guys to be around me and to do this, because this makes me happy. It makes me not think about that kind of stuff, and I think about it too much. So let's just keep on working. And
I want to play music with you guys. I want to create, I want to write, and I want to channel this energy that's happening right now into the music, and I need you guys to do it. We're doing this together.
Bill's mom died.
Tough couple of years for everybody. And writing music always helps with that kind of stuff, especially Mastodon music can be cathartic, you know.
It is cathartic, you know. It's like, you know, my mom would want me to do well and excel at what I'm doing and put all my effort into it and do it the best I can. So I just remember that, and I come down here and just try to write the best songs that I can write. That's all I can do, you know. So.
I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, you just want to do what you love and be surrounded by the people you love, so you just, that's what you want. It's good to put life's most painful situations can turn into something beautiful, and we use the band to try to honor their memory.
And I think that particular moment really set the entire record in a different direction with a brand new sincerity that over the next several months would become what is our new record.
So yeah, that's what this album is. It's all that.
It's an ongoing process of how to better the trio of tag team vocals that we have. And I'm very happy about the fact that we do have 3 vocals going on, because I don't believe any of us want to take it all on ourselves. So we like to mix it up, and I think we have 3 distinct voices that kind of lend themselves to various parts.
I think it's really important part of our sound to have 3 different singers. It just makes the music much more interesting.
I think it's one of the things that makes our band unique, and I'd much rather hear 3 voices than 1.
Just fucking vocal this shit up.
Thankfully, it's worked out good, and I think with this record, it's only gotten better. Bigger and better, man. The vocal mountain is huge, and we're continuing to ascend. Like I've always said, I feel that the 3 of us who share the vocals are very selfless, and it doesn't matter who writes the lyrics, it's what voice matches the part best. We're always aiming for the greater good of the song.
I mean, Braun, in the past few records, you know, he's writing the lyrics and the melodies.
Well, it has to be the natural thing, you know. When Brent plays a beautiful melody, I can sing over top of it because I feel like I understand it and I know what's supposed to happen there. And the same with Bill, and the same with Troy. You know, so I feel like that's one of the things that I can offer to the band is an understanding of melody and how to sing over stuff.
The biggest thing that we focus on vocally is trying to find the best melody for the part. A lot of the music is based in heavy rock, heavy riffs, but it's gruff, it's mean, it's dirty, it's hairy. The 3 of us really focus on finding the best melody possible to match the emotion of the song. And thankfully, that's come more and more natural to us with each and every record. As soon as someone has an idea, everyone tends to gravitate towards it immediately, which is a good thing. That means we're all on the same page.
As far as that's concerned, we all sort of chip in, you know, together on the melodies and stuff. It takes all of us to make it really happen, and it takes the 4 of us to make it really a Mastodon song.
It's the tag team vocal trio.
And then vocal harmonies start to get all piled up on top. I love that. Sounds like my favorite music.
You know, Brent, his voice is so distinct, and as soon as his voice kicks in on each and every song, it's just instantly memorable. He's got a great voice. When we write a certain riff or a song, you know, we all know immediately that's a Brent vocal song.
He likes to do all the guitar stuff, and then he jumps on the microphone, singing great. He sounds awesome.
You know, when we go for the, you know, some classic 70s voice, we turn to our drummer, Ron Daler.
He does a lot of singing. I mean, Braun has an amazing voice.
Yeah, I'm singing more.
He practices his ass off and does it live. I envy him of doing that caliber of vocals while playing a drum kit.
Even 20 years ago, hanging out with him, and he's singing like King Diamond, super high pitched, singing it perfectly. I'm like, whoa, man, not only are you a great drummer, you're a really good singer.
When he started doing vocals, he was really, really good, and now he's really, really great.
Because he looks at it differently, because he's a drummer, and he hears the percussive side of where the vocals will land. You can just get like a better variety of like vocal melody if you're thinking with the drums and not with the guitar or with the instrumentation of what's going on. He's got a higher range, and usually with like heavier stuff, it's kind of a lower range. Like Troy kind of fits 60-70% of what we're doing.
It could be Brent's lyrics, but maybe my voice fits the part better. Maybe it's a song that Braun wrote and Brent takes the vocals. The way we can trade off ideas, riffs, or lyrics is pretty special. I think that helps continue to make us not a one-dimensional band with a one-dimensional sound.
Troy ends up singing a lot of the stuff because usually his bass things that he's playing underneath is more locked up with the drums. He has a little more freedom to do that, and he's got a great low growly voice.
He's got like this heavy metal version of Peter Gabriel or something. I love it. His voice sounds great, and some of his lyrics are awesome, and he had a lot to sing about on this record, you know, and I knew he was going to bring it on a bunch of songs. Man, he really did. He's just fierce on some of that stuff. Powerful. Some of the most triumphant vocals I've ever heard are coming from him, so.
Whenever the guys think that a vocal part belongs to me, I obviously want to please those guys and make everyone happy, myself included. You know, try to give it the best vocal approach that I can give. And with this new record, every time we would jump in the vocal booth and start our idea, each and every guy was always thumbs up, thumbs up. So it seems like we're slowly but surely coming into our own as a group effort of doing vocals. And I really appreciate the fact that we can share them and not have them have one guy do all the heavy lifting vocal-wise.
Everyone's been really taking their vocals a lot more seriously, trying to take care of themselves a little bit better on the road and doing vocal warm-ups. Have some hot water and a lemon, some honey, warm up your vocal cords. And
that's because I was eating some of that moon cabbage earlier. You gotta eat a lot of moon cabbage to get your voice to work. It's the only bad thing, the only setback. It tastes pretty good. You've been this much time on the moon and you feel like you're like not from Earth anymore.
You can tell the difference, you know, they've really stepped it up when it comes to singing live, which is not an easy thing to do. So I salute you for doing that.
Our buddy Mike Keneally came and played that piano over there, and he played some Moog.
He's an animal. He's a beast.
And he played some Mellotron, so we got some keys on Jaguar God, which is just about the last thing to come together here in the studio.
Me and Braun wrote the song or whatever. Like I wrote the music and some of the lyrics or whatever, but like without him on the song wouldn't be what it is at all.
It's a long one, it's epic.
So I didn't really write the song. You know what I mean? We all wrote it. Like Keneally came up with that part.
I'm really excited that it's gotten to where it's gotten to, because I wasn't sure about it, because it was the last thing to happen.
That one came together nicely. I love when a plan comes together.
So that sounds amazing. Mike Keneally.
Played with Frank Zappa. That dude was just keyboard player and guitar player.
He's an amazing musician. Happy to be able to work with him. He's a good friend of ours and a very talented guy, and we love him.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
You know, I've been reflecting on the past 6 records, the past couple weeks, just like, all right, well, we did like, you know, Remission was when we first got together. was really like a dark, pretty guttery sounding. We didn't experiment too much with different tones and amps and stuff. As we played together longer and Leviathan came about, that kind of brightened up a little bit, and songs started taking different shapes, and like, oh, now we've kind of got songs that have like maybe a chorus part. I don't feel like Remission we really ever even thought about like, here's a verse, there's a chorus. We just wrote. It was always up to the singer to do that, but we didn't have a singer, and we all started singing.
We were recording Lifeblood. We had like one day left to work on vocals, and I was the only one that showed up. We had a song to do, Battle at Sea, so I just went ahead and did all the parts, all death metal style, and it's just because no one else showed up, I guess. I just remember being there, and the dude was like looking at his watch, and he was like, are these dudes gonna show up? And I was like, I don't know. This was before cell phones, so it was just like, you just had to be like, hey, we have to meet here at this time, and I was like, okay.
With Leviathan, it kind of came more together, and we started branching out and experimenting with crazy chord progressions and changes that were clean and something new for us, and kind of getting outside the box. And Blood Mountain was more a proggy album, like, okay, cool, we're experimenting this weird prog, and then we had like songs like Colony of Birchmen. Now we're like up for a Grammy, and it was like, whoa. People always say like, or they would ask like, so Will, what's the secret? What's your secret? How do you do it? I was like, I don't know. You just do it. Just get in the fucking van and drive to the next gig in the snow, in the rain, whatever, and drive all night if you have to, and set up your gear and change your strings and start playing. That's what we did for like 8 years or something, just barely scraping by, but I could see that like we weren't losing any steam.
We just wanted to make it happen ourselves and really take a DIY approach, and if anything was going to come of it positive, it was going to be on our own terms, and just take the music to the people. That was kind of the common goal that we had.
I always think about each record as where I was or where the band was as human beings on this earth. It's like such a journey, and every time we're in a different place and the band is getting bigger. Crack the Sky came around, and it was like, now we're really going off the deep end of these really epic 15-minute long songs with all these crazy changes and parts.
We just wanted to step it up, and make sure we wanted to step up the vocals and really elevate all points of our songwriting, and try to create a classic rock album if Mastodon could ever do that.
Every time we make a record, we learn something and we apply it to the next one, so it's like an evolution of ourselves. So that's where we're at. We're making this new record, but we have all the stuff we've made over the past 17 years is all with us. So it's all in the record, and then there's a new version of that.
I feel like everything really flows really well, and all the songs, each one stands up so fucking solid. It's got a little bit of everything in there. It's got some really heavy, dirty, stuff like from the Remission era. It's got, some of the progginess of Blood Mountain. It's got some of the epicness of Crack the Sky. It's got some urgency, I guess, of like Once More Around the Sun. It just has something for everybody in there, The
four of us have pretty similar taste and have very similar taste in music, and when we came together initially, that's what we realized about each other right off the bat. That's what makes a great band. You kind of all are on the same page musically.
And it's 17 years later, and here we are. We're still doing it, so doing something right.
January 2017 will mark our 17th birthday. 17 years of Mastodon existence.
The occult collective that is Mastodon.
That's a long time to be playing together.
There's ups and downs, yet through it you stick together and you make an incredible batch of songs that become an album. Having longevity is really, really rare. It's not only a relationship between two people, but it's all four of us over a long period of time. Many, many ups, many, many downs, and we've got to see the world by creating music together.
We spend a lot of our lives together on the road, so I'm married to like 4 people.
It's a pretty incredible marriage that we have, actually. 3 things that never cease to amaze me is Brent and Bill and Braun. It's priceless.
I can't wait to hear what Brent's going to come up with. I can't wait to hear with Bill or Troy what they're going to do, because I love their playing and I love them as people, and I think that they are beautiful musicians and they play the kind of music that I like to listen to. I'm just lucky that we found each other like that. There's a thing here, you know, and that's what happens with bands. It's one of the most amazing parts of my life. It in many ways defines who I am as a person, because I'm so biologically wrapped up in it.
For me, you know, this is my life, like playing in Mastodon and writing these songs and doing this.
There's no real separation between me and Mastodon or any of the other guys in the band and Mastodon. It is us.
I mean, we have to do this because it's our life.
It's the sum of its parts. We realize that about our band. We know what makes our band special, and like I said, that's what we fell in love with to begin with.
Why are we doing this? Do we need it or do we want it? Is it worth it? What's the end result of why we do this? And I think it's always been because of the very rare and unique chemistry that we share. We'll go on stage and we'll play for our 30, 45, hour-and-a-half set, whatever it may be. And it's what we can do on stage together and that absolute magic that we create that brings a very genuine smile to all 4 of us. We know we can't do it alone. We depend on one another. Our band is unified, and we do what we do because we love it, we live it, we mean it. It's in our hearts and souls, and it has been since day one. Having emotions evoked is a good thing. Music can do that. Good music can. I hope our music touches people like it, to any degree that it touches me.
I love putting a new record out and people hearing it for the first time.
Right now, we're in that period of time when the record only belongs to us. I'm gonna listen to this thing non-stop for the next 4 to 5 months, and then I'll put it away and just start playing it with the guys.
Every record is an important record. You never just want to be putting a record out just to put a record out, or putting a record out that you're just not 100% happy with. I mean, you have to be super excited about it.
That's why you chase it. That's what you're after. You want to play it. You want to be in it. You want to listen to it. You want to see if there's more of it, you know, so you just keep on pushing. That's how you can put out 8 albums and write 85 or 90 songs, you know, because you want to.
I'm proud of the guys and everybody involved with the record. It just sounds fucking amazing.
I'm proud of us. We did it. Cheers, Mastodon. Ah, man, that's one thing I missed. You couldn't drink any beer on the moon.
I've always been proud of my bandmates, but it only increases how happy I am to jam with those guys to this very day.
If we can keep putting out awesome records like for the rest of our lives, I mean, I'm happy to do that. I've got it in me. I know I can do it.
I'm not sure if I've mentioned how much I love hot tubs.